Hey there everybody, this is Wholfie, and you're listening to episode 9 of Hearthwalkers, the Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering podcast, and this is your too long didn't listen! Dragons are coming out! The dragons are here, almost here, they come out soon, and we need to talk about them, plus the Mythic Championship is happening. We got so much things that are happening, but nothing we can talk about. Let's start the show.
We have not started the show yet, right?
Oh, it's always starting.
Fuck. Hello and welcome.
It's time to bingo! Yes! Pull up a chair by the hearth.
Hearthwalkers, a Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone podcast.
Hey there everybody, this is Hearthwalkers, the Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering podcast, episode 9, I believe. I think it's episode 9. My name is Wholfie. I am your most trustable host person. Yes. And this is the podcast. We're doing a little different. It's going to sound different. I don't apologize. It's the holidays, and I have a full-time job that makes me work mandatory overtime during the holidays. So that's why we haven't streamed this episode. That's why it's late, and that's why we're doing it in the car while I'm driving. That means multiple things. One, it's going to sound funky, because I'm driving a car right now. You might hear the blinker every now and again. I need to do it because I'm on the road, and those are the rules. Secondly, I'm gonna be. This whole episode is gonna be. It's gonna have the same structure, but we're going to be a little fast and loose with specifics, i.e., names of cards and other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. I've been literally trying to record this episode for the last 3 days, just looking up cards, looking up everything I could about the topics we're going to talk about, and trying to commit it to memory. And let me tell you that it doesn't work if you don't get sleep, and I don't because we also have kids. So we're going to give it a shot. The episode needs to come out because I have things that I want to say, and it's gonna be what it is. I might not even cut that out, but it takes about 45 minutes to an hour for me to get home from my place of work, and that's how long the podcast should be, but it never is. So hopefully this will actually work out perfectly. That being said, today's episode is the Descent of Dragons, I don't know, pre-game? We can call it a pre-game show. Descent of Dragons Boot Camp, Descent of Dragons 101. I like pre-game show. Reminds me of when we would do pre-releases, and I would get all my buddies together and be like, hey, you guys, I don't know if you guys looked at any of the spoilers, because I have friends that just don't want to look at spoilers, and I tell them, okay, if you land into these colors, this is a good strategy. Stuff like that. The Descent of Dragons pre-game show. That's what this is. That's what we're talking about right now. We will touch on some esports and some news stuff during the episode, but the bulk and the main topic of this episode is going to be revolving around the next Hearthstone expansion, Descent of Dragons. We will do the same for the next Magic the Gathering expansion, Beyond Death, when that comes out next month, actually. Man, it's getting soon. So look forward to things like this. This is a special episode, alright? But without further ado, let's get to the news!
News team, assemble!
I understand you are in need of support.
Good news, I've arrived.
And I love me those new stingers! That's right, I still heard it while I'm in the car. I have that power as host of this podcast. News. A whole bunch of stuff has been happening, and I can't remember all of it, so I'm going to tell you some of it. First off, let's start about Magic. The secret layer got announced. I don't remember if we talked about it on the last podcast. I think we did. But new news came out. New news came out on the secret layer stuff. They initially broke, I think, by Magic Pro League player Ben Stark did it. Someone from the MPL posted on Twitter, "Hey, I just got this fancy package in the mail on November 2nd. Not 2nd. It might have been on the 2nd when the bundle for all 7 secret layer packages was available to purchase. As a quick recap, Secret Layer is a purchasable special thing that you can buy only from Magic the Gathering, wizards.shop.store. Give us your money, and it is 7 different items that you can buy only for 24-hour periods, and each of them it's 100% reprints of different staple cards for different formats, and they all have new alternate artwork. Most of them are foil. It's amazing. It's a really cool idea. The only problem is that it's a little pricey, right? So there's like a bitter blossom one that costs, I think it's $39.99, and Bitter Blossom itself is about that much. So it's kind of like, okay, so you only get the alternate art for that, and then you get these fancy tokens with it, which is kind of cool. There's a Golgari Beyond Death theme that has Life from the Loam, Golgari Thug, and some other guy, and those were done by like a Metallica cover album artist, and a lot of these, they can come together and form a panorama. There's one called Explosion Sounds that has modern Goblin staples, but only one of them is actually a modern Goblin staple card, and the other ones are kind of just Goblin staple adjacent, which might be something you're looking into. But the artwork for those ones is really cool. They're like these stylized, almost like video game, kind of like Team Fortress 2 stylized goblins in a war zone, and they do a panorama thing. There's 5 of them. I'm not going to even try to remember their names. I'm not going to remember all of the packages. That's 3. There's a Serum Visions one, where it comes with a play set of Serum Visions, but each of the cards is done by a different artist, and they all have this uniting theme of like a head or a skull drinking a blue liquid. That one is amazing. If I played Modern and I played Blue, which are both false, then I would definitely buy that one. There's a really cool one that's like pixel art, which I think is fucking sick. It reminds me of Pokemon a little bit. How Pokemon uses different artists and different mediums to do a lot of their artwork for their cards. And there's like one that looks like it's a graffiti art that's fucking sick. It's awesome. Check that one out. I think that's 4. There is the one I wanted to get. There's 2 I wanted to get. I wanted to get the OMG Kitties one, which comes with super adorable stylized cats. Ouroboros, the Roar of the World Commander card gets a reprint here, and so do a bunch of other cats that were actually in the deck, I believe, and then you also get 2 tokens. Regal Crackle is in there. Mary, the Weatherlight Duelist, is in there. Some other cats happen. It's fine. It's the worst in value in terms of card reprint, but they're adorable, and it's amazingly adorable. And then the other one I wanted to get was called Kaleidoscope Killers. It's 3 Wooburg colored commanders. The Reaper King, Sliver something. It's not the Sliver Queen, but it's Sliver Overlord, and the Dragon Eminence Commander that came out with Ouroboros Roar of the Wild. The Dragon, I think his name was. Those 3, and those artworks are fucking gorgeous too. And there's 2 other ones. Oh, there's one that's Snowlands. It's 1 of each color Snowland, but they're done in the style of Throne of Eldraine lands, and it's amazing. The artwork is so fucking good, but why would I need 1 of each color Snowland And 2, they're not full art, but they are foil. So it's a weird trade-off. And then the last one, I can't remember. Period. But those are starting the second. You can buy, on the second, you could have bought the entire set of 7 for like $200, $199.99, and you would have saved yourself the price, basically $30, like the price of one, or $40. And then each day you get to, like one of them unlocks, and you can buy another one. Yesterday's was the Thornville Drain Snowlands. Today's, I can't remember. Tomorrow's, so when this goes live, because I'm going to try to edit this today, tomorrow's is going to be the Kaleidoscope Killers, and the last one on the list is OMG Kitties. So they are, it's a chef's kiss product, right? But something else happened, right? And even Rudy of Alpha Investments was like, "This is amazing." What happened was, during the showcasing of like videos that all the content creators that got to like showcase these and spoil them, what they didn't show you was that each of them comes with a special secret card. Fucking what? And people were like, "What the fuck is the card? What is it? Is it a plane?" And then it got like announced that they're planeswalkers, and everyone's going like, "What the fuck? You get like a free planeswalker with these?" And then it's kind of like a letdown, kind of not. What happens is each secret layer, supposedly comes with a random foil of the stained glass window planeswalkers from War of the Spark. So I don't know how random is supposed to be, because I think it was Ben Stark whoever leaked it. When they did leak it, they got the Ajani Planeswalker in the OMG Kitties deck, and everyone on Twitter is like, that's a little suspicious. But, I mean, imagine getting Liliana, like a foil stained glass version of the Liliana Planeswalker on, I don't know if she has a stained glass version, but whatever. Like, it's cool. They're foil Planeswalkers. It's free. And it just adds to the value. And most of these secret layers, not counting basically OMG Kitties, is pretty much like tit for tat on value-wise. Solarian Community College did a video where they broke everything down. But if you go on TCG Player, the people are like reselling these cards like ridiculously. Like, I was looking at the Kaleidoscope Killers one because I want a copy of Reaper King, and each of the Kaleidoscope Killers cards is selling for $30, and you can buy the whole thing for $40 or $49.99, I think. So I don't know if those prices are going to stay, but it's cool. It's like a really neat idea. It's a really awesome product. But yeah, that got announced. That's a thing that's happening. So that was cool. Other news from Magic, I had some yesterday when I was going through the podcast yesterday in my head, and I forgot what it was. So if I remember, we'll come back to it. If not, that sucks, and I apologize. If you want more news, actually just go to my Twitter at Wholfie. We'll figure it out. I'll post other news things on there. Sorry, once the episode drops. I have to talk extra loud because I'm using the Apple earbud microphone, which I heard is decent, but I need to talk louder so that I can differentiate my voice from the sound the car makes while it's driving on the highway, so that when I go and noise remove it later, it doesn't destroy my voice. Not that talking this loud is destroying my voice, because it is. But that being said, I would like to move on to Hearthstone. Descent of Dragons is coming out. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about that later. News-wise, there is a new patch that came out. It's the preset patch. This happens every set. It kind of just preps everybody so that you don't have to download the patch the day the cards come out. You can kind of just hop in and play. But there was Battlegrounds news today. Ha! and I haven't gotten to fully check this out, but the new Battlegrounds patch that we were waiting for is now out. We added some new heroes. I'm not entirely sure which heroes got booted, because Mike Tenaeus, I think that's his name, the Team 5 head developer guy, stated that they want to keep adding heroes to the roster of pickable heroes, but they also want to rotate them out. They don't want the hero pool to be too big. And I, for one, think it should be huge. Like, it would be nice not to run into the same heroes all the time. Like, I want it, especially once the set comes out and everyone can slowly buy the 30 packs you need to unlock that third hero when you pick your hero at the beginning of the game. I didn't pre-order the set because, let's not talk about it. And because of that, I only have like the whatever free packs you get during the events and stuff, which is like, I think as of now, 8. So I have 8 free packs. I will buy the rest of the 30 packs I need once the set comes out, but I can't buy it beforehand. So I've been playing this whole time only being able to pick 1 of 2 heroes. So that makes it easier for me, but once I am able to pick 3, I would like the pool to be bigger because everyone else is probably going to be able to pick 3, and you want some variation. Like, I would be fine if I had a game where no one got Brand Bronzebeard. That seems like not that bad of a thing. So I don't know why they rotate them out, but they did. Heroes that got added, Rafam is now in the game. I know that. I think Edwin Van Cleef is in the game, and Sylvanas is in the game. Not 100% on that, and not 100% on anything else that's happened. Or nerfs. We will talk about that more in depth next week. And if you have more questions and you just need to know, you at me on Twitter. You fucking do it. You go on Twitter, you at me, and be like, hey, what's up? I came here for the news, and I got a pile of shitty garbage. Answer my questions, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, cool. I will answer all your questions. At me, at Hearthwalkers, or at Wholfie. Both are good. But yeah, Rafam is sick, crazy. Like, I heard Sylvanas' hero power is like 2 gold to destroy a minion in Bob's Tavern, and then the adjacent minions get +2/+2. I'm not 100% on that. And I heard Edwin's is like 1 gold, and you can give a character, like one of your creatures, +1 or +2/+2 for each card that you bought this round, which I think is fucking sick. But I did get to play Rafam. I was playing a friend during my lunch break, and we didn't even have time to finish the game. But I was offered Rafam, and I was like, I'm fucking taking Rafam. I was offered Rafam and the Curator, and I took Rafam because science. And his ability is 1 gold. You get like a fresh creature. The first creature you kill in the next round, you get a fresh one to your hand. So like an unbuffed, unenchanted, unchanged version. So if someone is playing, let's just say Menagerie. Actually, let's say any build. If they're playing any build and they decided to taunt up their Nightmare Amalgam, and I kill that Nightmare Amalgam, I get a copy of Nightmare Amalgam. Isn't that fucking crazy? It's such a good hero power. It only costs 1 gold. It's going to get nerfed because I'm going to tell you why right now. I used it every turn. After I hit like 7 or 8 gold for the round, I think that's like turn 5 or something, my board was kind of fine. And I literally would just hit that every turn, because worst case scenario, you get something you can't use completely out of your whatever build you're trying to do. You just plop it on the field and sell it back, and you get your gold back. So there's literally no harm in doing it, except for not being able to reroll on that turn. So there is like that kind of strategy where do I want to reroll and kind of find what I'm looking for? But most of the time it's like, no, just use the hero power and then you're going to kill something next turn and you're going to get a copy of that. And it might be something you could use. Like, it might be something you could use for, like, legitly. Or, it's not, just sell it back next turn. It's fine. Selling it back next turn would be even better, because then you can kind of hyper roll and, like, roll, sell a thing back, roll, buy a thing, and then, like, stuff like that. So, I think Rafam is just straight broken right now. I haven't gotten to play with any of the other heroes. More on that later. More Hearthstone news. Oh, Magic news. Shit. No, never mind. We talked about that. Fuck. Damn it. That's all the news for now. Let's move on to esports. While I take a drink. 'Cause my throat hurts now.
Venusaur with a question mark.
Get down!
Welcome back!
Alright, esports. We're not going to spend too much time on this because it's... oh my god. Esports that we're going to talk about today is still going on. We have Mythic Championship 7. I hate the way these are named. It's so obnoxious to think that Wizards of the Coast expects me to just remember everything that happened based off of numerals. And I was watching Mythic Championship 7 Day 1 today. While I'm recording is Friday. Actually, it's Saturday now because I work overnight, but it was Friday earlier in the morning times, and Day 1 had just started. So I was tuning in, I was watching it, and even the casters would bring up something. I was watching a Javier Dominguez game. They were bringing up the Mythic Championship he had already won, which I think is 3. But no one is for sure. Like the one caster, I can't remember his name, but the caster that was sure in his answer, I would say is like could be like 25% chance of being wrong. I think he said Mythic Championship 4. I have no idea, but I hate the name convention for this whole thing. That being said, Wizards, invite me to a Mythic Championship. I would love to come. I will cast. It would be great. I can talk like this, or I can talk like this. And my throat won't hurt, I promise. I will bring lozenges for all the casters. It's going on right now. It's great. Check it out. Day 2 will be airing when this episode airs on the podcast waves. And from what I've seen, it's actually ridiculous right now. There's a couple of main decks that are emerging. Simic Flash and Golgari Adventure, and Jund Sacrifice seem to be the top tier decks that are kind of vying for power right now. Javier Dominguez and I think Seth Manfield both are going the Simic Flash deck because Golgari Adventure kind of like came out of nowhere as like the deck to try to come out with. And Simic Flash fucking stomps that deck into the ground. Jund Sacrifice could be kind of offshooted into Rakdos Sacrifice and or Golgari Sacrifice. It's kind of like the same thing. Oh my god, sorry. They both use the Witch's Oven Cauldron Familiar combo where you sack a cat and you get a food, sack the food, get a cat combo. It's really strong. It's fucking strong. I ladder with it all the time. I'm trying to step away from it because I know it's not going to get banned. Like, there's no way it's going to get banned. It's not that impressive. But it is very powerful. And whenever things get too meta, I tend to just shy away from it because I don't want to be in that whole thing. I'm a hipster about it. Shut up, at me, whatever. But what I would like to say, 2 things. One, from what I've seen, I know it's day 1, but in this Mythic Championship 7, there's a lot more gender diversity than from what I've been seeing in the past. There was, I can't remember everyone's name. I think it was Ali Straza, but she's a Hearthstone person, so I don't know what she was doing in a Mythic Championship. But I'm pretty sure I'm getting that wrong, so it's fine. But there was like, I watched maybe 5 games total, and 4 of them had female competitors, and almost all of the female competitors won. It was fucking cool. Like, I'm glad this is happening now, because I want my daughter to live up to her namesake, win a world championship, go to the camera, thumbs up for dad, and spit in like the loser's face or something, shove his nose in the dirt. I don't know, man. Her name's Liliana. She can do whatever she wants, but that's my daughter. I think it's cool that we have this level of gender diversity. It's only day 1, so things might get weeded out. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. The one match where our female contender did lose was against Javier Dominguez, reigning world championship, former Mythic Championship X winner. And it was Javier Dominguez's girlfriend. She's also from Spain, and she qualified by herself. And it was so funny. The casters are like, man, this is going to be the most awkward match in the entire Mythic Championship. Javier Dominguez, this lady, they're in a relationship. They flew here together, and they end up going up against each other in round 1 of day 1. Javier Dominguez won. He didn't stomp her out. He was playing Simic Flash. She was playing Golgari Adventure. And in like the little interviews, Javier Dominguez says like, yeah, we picked Simic Flash specifically to target Golgari Adventure. And I guess the memo just didn't get passed along. Javier Dominguez won 2-1. And all of the games are pretty tight, except for the first one. She got all of her stuff countered, like, period. And after that first one, she was able to sideboard in more answers and make the games closer together. They were actually really interesting games, especially when someone's playing Simic Flash, because that deck itself is really interesting. It has very particular play patterns in it. But that being said, Mythic Championship is well on its way. Go check it out. Hearthstone news, global games is going on strong. Nothing to report. It's just going. It's going, and one of these days it's going to end, and we'll let you know when that happens. On the other hand, League of Legends had the All-Star Tournament, where it's primarily for past esports personalities and community personalities to do like this little tournament. But they did have a TFT portion for the tournament, so check that out. I don't have anything else on that either. I guess real quick, also, Teppin, the Amazon-sponsored Teppin tournament is happening in December. I don't know if I think it's December 12th, or it started already, but that's going on as well. I don't know if it's getting streamed anywhere. It's very weird. There's not a lot of, like, publicity around it, but it's sponsored by Amazon, which is interesting, to say the least. Moving on to our main topic.
Because I'm an adult, and when I attend a conversation, I bring my own memes from home.
Use your bolts of lightning!
What? My hair is on fire? I know.
God, I love those singers so much. Almost as much as this coffee that I'm drinking right now. I can already feel my voice starting to go because I spent my 10-hour shift. Mostly I don't talk to people because I have to like work and I'm traveling around this little warehouse, so we can't talk to each other in the first place. But I tend to keep away from them also because I don't want to talk to people in general out in the real life because they don't play card games. No one plays card games in real life, only in the video games. And today I spent like the first half of my shift talking through the podcast to myself like a crazy person, but a crazy person with a podcast, so I'm like one step above. And then the second half of the shift, I was kind of like whatever. But then the last like 2 hours, they kind of just had us clean up the entire warehouse for no reason. So I kind of just paired up with another guy. We're talking about Eternal. So look forward to Eternal showing up on this podcast because we just can't get enough of these card games. It's going to drive me fucking insane trying to rank up in TFT, Magic, Hearthstone, Eternal, Teppen, Pokemon Online, because that's going to happen at some point too. And I'm missing something. I think we're just going to drop Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. If there becomes like an official Yu-Gi-Oh! Virtual like platform, we will hop on that in a heartbeat. But until then, fuck Yu-Gi-Oh! We're not covering it anymore. I have spoken. Anyway, Descent of Dragons is coming out. Oh my god. Descent of Dragons is like the War of the Spark of Hearthstone right now. This is the first time Hearthstone has tried to do a year-long story arc, and Descent of Dragons is the culmination of that year-long arc. The story thus far is that the League of Evil is a bunch of just loser bad guys that kept getting beat up and stuff. Rafam, one of our older bad guys, Hearthstone. I think he's like Hearthstone's creation. Like, he's not from World of Warcraft, but he gathers them all up. And he's like, you guys, I got a fucking plan. My name is Rafam. I know what I'm doing. Look at my mummy dress, and I got magic powers. And then the priest, voodoo, gypsy lady is like, you know what? I think we got this. And then also rogue candle guy is there, and he's like, I like candles and gold, I'll come along. And Hagatha the Witch Queen is like, you know what? This sounds fucking lit. And then Dr. Boom is like, he's like the SpongeBob doodle that's all fucked up. He's just in the corner with his mech spots, and he's like, yeah, so that's the League of Evil, right? First expansion. They're the League of Evil, and they're trying to break into Dalaran. And the Dalaran is like this magic city of magics. And they did it. In the story mode, they do it. And they're like, what are we going to do now? And Dr. Boom's like, why don't we strap rockets to it? And Rafam's like, that's a fucking genius idea. That's a 200 IQ idea, Dr. Boom. Let's fucking do it. That's why I put you on this team. Fucking synergy and teamwork and corporate speak. They strap rockets onto the floating city, and now they basically have a giant comet that they're driving. And it's amazing. Next set is Saviors of Uldoon. Surprised they took Dalaran to drive to Uldoon, which is this desert place full of hidden secrets. And the reason they did that is because they want to unlock these plagues onto Uldoon as a diversion, so that Rafam can get this. Like, I have the Saviors of Uldoon like single player thing, and I just haven't finished it. I'm sorry. Excuse me. But from what I gathered in context clues, Rafam needed this specific treasure for the next step of his plan, which is happening in Descent of Dragons, where he revives Galakron, the death big daddy dragon of all the dragons. He's like the progenitus dragon, and also he's a bad guy. So he wants to revive him, and then Descent of Dragons happens. And it hasn't come out yet. It's coming out soon. And that's why we're talking about it. So that's the story so far. It's the Civil War endgame. It's the Civil War, the first part, not endgame yet, of the Hearthstone universe. And it's fucking sick. It's lit. It's 100% chef's kiss, all the meme. Yeah. So, new mechanics. Let's go over that real quick. There is a mechanic called Invoke. This is only available to the League of Evil characters, which is Warrior, Priest, Shaman, Rogue, and Warlock. Those 5. They get the keyword Invoke on some of their cards. It has to do with Galakron himself. Each of those 5 characters gets a version of Galakron as a hero card, and everyone will get a copy of Galakron for free, along with a an Invoker card for Galakron for free when the set comes out. That's like the free legendary everyone gets. Everyone's going to get Galakron. We will actually talk about this a little bit later, but each class's Galakron does stuff a little bit differently. When you invoke Galakron, he basically levels up. And the leveled up version has a better battle cry. The hero power stays the same, but you also get a stronger weapon. Like you get the first level up, the middle one, you get a stronger battle cry, and the last one, you get a super strong battle cry, and you get a 5/2 weapon, which is fucking cool, right? So each class has a different version of that. I don't remember what they do. Don't at me, whatever. And then the League of Heroes, Explorers, which are our Druid, Mage, Paladin, and why am I always missing this one? Hunter. Those classes get dragons, and their mechanic is side quests. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot. So side quest works like a regular quest, where once you meet X, you get Y, but they are not legendary, so you can have multiple copies in your deck, and they do not start out in your opening hand. They are also a lot weaker than a normal quest, so their requirements are also smaller. I think the Druid one is like that. I think also each class gets 2 side quests, kind of like a common side quest and then a rare epic side quest. And I think one of the Druid ones is like attack 4 times. Like that's it. And then you get like 3 claws into your hand, something like that. It's weird. They are very specific in terms of like the kind of deck you would put them in. They're not just, they would go into any deck, but they're decent. They're kind of cool. Side quests, they're a thing. That's the League of Explorers mechanic. Now, each class also gets 2 legendary creatures, and the evil guys also get Galakron, so they kind of get 3. But each of the classes gets a legendary dragon, which we'll go over in a bit, and then they also get another legendary, which is, it's all good. And another big mechanic that's kind of in the set and kind of returning is dragons in general. In the past, whenever a dragon had an ability, it would kind of do a check to see if you had a dragon in your hand. That's back, so keeping dragons in your hand is important. And there's a lot of fairy dragon type effects going on in our neutral cards that we got. There's a lot of like well-statted dragons that cannot be targeted by spells or hero powers. I'm not sure why, but it is very interesting that it is a thing. And I think it points the meta in a certain direction for sure. But man, my throat hurts right now from talking so loud. That's kind of like what we're dealing with right now. So I have a hard time troubling all the classes in alphabetical order. So we're going to go in Mean Streets of Gadgets in order from my most favorite to least favorite. Because that's just how we roll. It's my podcast, alright? It's my I put blood, sweat, and tears in this podcast. I'm going to do it my way. Thank you, Mr. Blue, Baby Blues. Don't at me, please. I'm so tired. I just worked a 10-hour shift, and I didn't get a lot of sleep. But we gotta talk about this, okay? So, Druid. Their legendary dragon is Ysera. I don't remember the name afterwards. It's a Ysera reprint. Not a reprint, sorry. It's a new Ysera card. Her stats are good. That's all I remember. Her mana cost is good. It's decent. The battle cry is you shuffle these dream portals into your deck, and whenever you draw one, it summons a random dragon. It's good. It's a decent, I wouldn't even say mid-range. It's like a kind of control-y kind of thing. But it's weird because it breaks Zephyrus because you're putting multiple copies of the thing into your deck, so Zephyrus doesn't work. Strange. But also, Druid is finally getting more support for the Treant deck. The second legendary for Druid is Treant King Guy. I don't remember his name, Mr. Bark, and his battle cry just says, for the rest of the game, your Treants get +1/+1. So, if you can bounce him or copy him somehow, which we can, and it's Hearthstone, you can keep making your Treants just stronger and stronger, which is kind of funny. There's a new choose one card that I think says, like, deal 2 damage or summon a 2/2 Treant. That's a thing. There's a side quest that summons Treants onto your side of the field if you do a certain thing. And then there's the claw one that I talked about earlier. There's a new, like, if you're holding a dragon, summon a Treant. That card's pretty cool. There's Treant support now. All right, is what I'm trying to say. And there's one to, like, draw cards, and there's an earlier one that does something else. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Treants are going to be a thing. I'm telling you right now. We spent way too long trying to make Quest Treant Druid work before the set came out, and I'm telling you right now, you can probably do it now. If not, just make a Treant deck by yourself. All right. Notable other card. Druid got this, it's like Emerald Explorer. All the Explorer classes have an Explorer card that will discover a dragon. Druid's is a dragon. He's a 5 mana, 5/5, I think, discover a dragon. He's fucking solid. If you're running dragons, you're going to run this card. You also don't need a dragon in your hand to activate his effect, so that's good. Moving on, because we're running out of time. Who else was in Shaman? Shaman's fucked. Shaman, before the holiday event where they got evolved, they were basically just doing overload tokens where you would use Snake Lady to give all of your cards +2/+2 attack when you're overloaded. Make like a wide board, do that, and then do a Bloodlust so that you can attack for lethal. That I don't see that happening anymore. It could work. It could win you a couple of games, but it's just not strong enough. And the cards that they're getting don't really point me in a specific direction. So I feel like Shaman is going to be bad this set on almost, I don't think on purpose because of Evolve, but they don't have a clear path going forward in my eyes. So it might just default fall into that sort of token Bloodlust thing, or it could fall into like a really nice mid-range, like just good stuff deck, because we still have like Hagatha and Shutterwalk is still around. Like, it can still be a good deck. So, also Quest Shaman. What the fuck am I thinking? Oh my god, Quest Shaman. Yeah, never mind. Shaman's fine. Rogue. Rogue has Wax Dread, which is their legendary dragon made out of candle wax, and his death rattle is summon. I think it's a death rattle. You put a candle, or you put 3 candles into your deck, and when you draw one, you resummon him, which is a better way of the plant that you would have to play 4 cards in a turn to resummon it. So it's decent. And then I think the other legendary is like a thief card, so I'm pretty sure thief rogue is going to come back. It kind of was back already, and they did get like 3 or 4 1 mana lower spells, so combo rogue is definitely going to be a thing. If not just like thief rogue or mid-range rogue that just throws out a 12/12 Van Cleef every other turn. Like, that's probably going to happen too. So look out for that for rogue. Moving on to Paladin. Paladin still got Shirvala. That's still going to be a good combo, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later when we hit neutrals. And they just have a lot of really good mid-range stuff, which is weird. They had Bronze Herald last set, which is a really decent dragon, puts dragons into your hand. They have this one Dragon Rider guy, which is the legendary, that gives a creature Death Rattle, give like +2/+4 or something. And then also they get a Death Rattle that says like give this effect to a card in your hand. So the rider kind of just bounces between dragons. Kind of cool, kind of interesting. And they also got their legendary dragon, which is Norzdamu. We get finally a reprint of Norzdamu, but this one's fucking sick. It's 4 mana, 8/8, Battlecry, set both players' mana to 10. Now, your mana, I think, will still be empty, so your opponent's going to actually be able to be the first one to actually do something. But if you play this on curve, no one's going to be keeping, like, 8-cost stuff. Like, the odds of them blowing you out, I would say is low the closer to on curve you play Norzdamu, which makes this deck super interesting. If you can do, like, mid-range good stuff, and then just accelerate from early game to mid to, like, late with Norzdamu. I think that would be a really cool idea. For Paladin, moving on, Warrior. Warrior's a bad guy. Brr, Warrior. I don't even remember what cards they got, but they have Galakron. Now, Galakron is going to be talked about in all the evil decks. There's 5 classes that get Galakron, but the reason I'm scared about Warrior is because Warrior still has Dr. Boom, and Dr. Boom didn't really get nerfed that bad. So Control Warrior is going to be fucking evil this next set. So we need to figure out a way to deal with Control Warrior, basically. This Control Warrior is just stepping up its game with Galakron, and having the Invoke cards in the deck gives them more things to do during the mid-game, so that, like, because usually during the mid-game all they do is gain armor, but now they actually have shit to do, so now it's a little bit more scary, because it also makes that Galakron pay off. It also gets a weapon when he comes out. His battle cry or his effect is it's gonna be scary, alright? So we'll look out for the Warrior. There's also kind of a rush thing that they got going on, but I don't think that's going anywhere. It's like, whatever. Hunter! I'm really excited for Hunter. They got, their dragon is like this weird equality paladin thing. It's like Battlecry. All of your opponent's minions turn into, or have 1 toughness, so you can like board wipe them somehow. But I don't know if this is like a wild card, like if they made this card for wild, because 1, Hunter doesn't have like an on-command AoE spell like that would just deal 1 to everything. There's like deal 1 to like 2 things, or like deal 3 to 2 things, and there's Explosive Trap, but you can't force an Explosive Trap. Your opponent has to fall into it. Maybe on purpose, but whatever, right? So, that's strange. The other legendary they got is this super strong bow. It's the stinger from Game of Thrones that says, like, I think it says whenever you use your hero power, you deal 4 damage to a random enemy character. I think it's so good because we still have Fairy Pixie guy that refreshes your hero power for 3, and Hunter has this like insane hero power support package now. There's a 1/3 for 1 that says your hero power can now target creatures. Amazing. 1/3s for 1 are always good. There's a 2-drop that says when you use your hero power, cast a random spell from your deck. Deck thinning, always good. Free stuff, always good. And you get to the hero power. They got a side quest that says once you use your hero power like 4 times, you summon 4 leper gnomes. So not only are you dealing damage, but you also get leper gnomes to deal more damage. Plus the legendary I mentioned before. There's some other stuff. I think they have like 1 or 2 dragon synergies. They have a, I think it's called like Snake Arrow or something like that, or Snake Bite. That would deal 5 damage to a creature and then 3 damage to the opponent for 5 mana. They have a better version that deals 3 damage to a creature and 3 damage to the hero, but it's only 3 mana. It's so much better. So, Hunters, I'm really excited for like this aggro hero power Hunter, or like a mid-range combo Hunter that uses this hero power mechanic stuff. Moving on, to... We're like blowing through these because I'm going to be home in like 10 minutes. Mage. Cyclone Mage is coming back. Surprise! They have a couple of cards. One of the side quests is like spend 8 mana on spells. Not one spell, but spells plural. So whenever you cast a spell, whatever mana that is, it'll add to the 8. And then I think it's like draw a couple of cards. Or something like that. And then they have another one that says for each card, or for each spell that you cast this turn, or I think it's like if you've cast 3 spells this turn, summon a 6/6 elemental or a 4/4 elemental. So that's perfect for Cyclone Mage. I'm telling you right now, Cyclone Mage is coming back. And if not, we got Big Spell Mage coming back because their dragon is Malagos. Mage's dragon is Malagos, and Malagos says battle cry, get one of Malagos' spells. Malagos' spells, I think we went over this before on the other episode, they're just better versions of basic mage spells. So you could do whatever the dragon Calamos that makes the first spell you cast 0. So what I'm thinking is that we do this like big spell damage mage, like combo mage, where you Malagos for Pyroblast, and then like at some point like during the game you have like some spell damage on the field, and then you have your own Pyroblast, so that when you Calagos, you fucking double Pyroblast. One of them is dealing extra damage because it's Malagos' Pyroblast, and they have spell damage, so you could probably do like 35 damage in one turn. That could be a thing, you know? It's interesting, right? And if that doesn't work, Cyclone Mage. Boom, you got it. Alright. Priest. Priest is fine. They got more support, quote-unquote support, for Combo Priest in terms of just really good minions that they can put in Combo Priest because they have high health totals and low drawback. There's even a neutral taunt minion that says like summon, like Battlecry, summon 3 random one cost minions for your opponent, but it's like a 5/9 or something. Like it's a really well statted card, and Priest can abuse the fuck out of that. I don't even remember what their legendaries are because everyone's just going to run Combo Priest anyway. Maybe there's a world where we run like mid-range Galakron Priest, but Combo Priest is so good and I hate it so much, right? Last but not least, Warlock. Warlock also has Galakron. Who'd have thunk it, right? Rafam did his homework. I don't remember what Galakron does in Warlock, but Warlock did get a lot of AoE stuff, which is interesting. And they have dragon support. Everyone has dragon support. And then they got like a bunch of AoE stuff. I don't remember anything else, but like the Warlock has always been a class that can literally do any deck. Excuse me. Because of their hero power, just adds consistency to whatever you're doing. So you could do Zoolock, you can do Handlock still, and now we just have better cards to put in it. I don't know if there's going to be a new Warlock deck to come out of this, because I feel like all of their cards kind of just go into the existing decks. So, that being said, everyone's kind of in a fine place now. I'm almost home. Let's talk about the neutrals real quick. One of the ones that I remember is going to be Highlander support. Alexstrasza, Queen of Dragons. I think that's what her like subtext name is. But there's an Alexstrasza. There's a new Alexstrasza that says if there are no duplicates in your deck, Battlecry. If there are no duplicates in your deck, you discover. I think it's you discover 2 dragons. No, you get 2 random dragons to your hand, and they cost 0. I'm like 95% sure that's what she does. I think she's like 9 mana for an 8/8, like normal dragon stats. So that's interesting that they're supporting this Highlander sort of genre of deck. Plus Zephyrus is so like any class can kind of do this, which is nice. There is a weird card called like Shuma that just summons a bunch of tentacles. It's dumb. It's like a bad card. It's like an actual bad card. There's the Dark Demon guy that we all got for free a couple of weeks back. This is what I was talking. Okay, so not legendaries. We're done talking about legendaries. There's like 3 other ones. One of them is Galakron specific. It'll like draw you Galakron, and if you are already Galakron, then it will do a devastation. But I don't know. I couldn't find anything out about what the devastation was. Like, what are the devastations? I don't know what that was. So that's that. There is a new neutral card. I believe it is a legendary or an epic that says destroy target creature and any other copies of it. This is really interesting because there's never been deck hate before, or hand hate really in Hearthstone, almost except for this card, because you can target if you're playing combo Paladin, OTK Paladin, and you play out that Shrivala Baleful Banker into the deck, so it's the only card in your deck, and you don't finish the combo that turn, they can kill Shrivala on the board, and it'll kill the Shrivala in your deck too, and you lose. This also works against, like, if someone's playing Oasis Surger in the Quest Druid deck, and they tucked an Oasis Surger into the deck, they have one in their hand for the next turn, and they just played the one after they completed their quest. So you kill one, it kills the other one on the battlefield, and then it kills one in their hand, and it kills one in their deck. I can't remember what this card's called, but it is very interesting. Pretty sure it's going to get used in games, period. There's also another kind of cool epic that just says Battle Cry, steal your opponent's weapon. That's kind of fucking cool. Especially with Galakron running around, there's going to be 5/2 weapons everywhere. So you probably steal yourself a 5/1 claw every once in a while. It also is like a soft nerf to Warrior, because they can't just have a Super Collider sitting out there anymore, because you're going to fucking steal it from them. So, interesting things to think about with these neutrals. I'm so sorry, you guys. I wish I had more time to talk about this. We just spent too much time on all the other stuff like normal, and I wasn't super prepared. I am super prepared, but I can't read in the car, because then I will crash. So, thank you guys for listening. We will play an outro thing outside of this, but for everyone, this is Wholfie. Thank you guys for listening. This is Hearthwalkers, episode 9, I believe.
Hearthwalkers is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Wholfie. Special thanks to Cat Audic for Kawaii Overload, this song that we use in our intro. You can find us on social media at Hearthwalkers on Twitter, or you can message me directly at Wholfie on Twitter. You can also email us at hearthwalkers@gmail.com. Special thanks to Blue Kitty. Thanks again for listening.